just keep going, just keep building, keep pushing, keep growing, keep learning. Everyone has the same problem right now. Obviously there's still some hallucination. Just start, use AI, leverage it. I think we'll see the first one-person billion-dollar company very soon. That could be anyone's.
Welcome to another episode of AllAboutAI.com exclusive interview series. Today we have Dan Thomson, founder and CEO of Sensay. We'll be exploring his journey, the challenges he has faced, his achievements, and his vision for AI and technology. Let's get started.
Sensei has kind of been a lifetime business for me, at least. Obviously, the realization of that sort of lifetime dream has only been the last year, but ever since studying philosophy, specifically existentialism philosophy, philosophy of identity, in university and college, I then went on to go through several life experiences that really honed in the idea that we are just a combination of stories, and everything we are is fleeting. Once we unfortunately pass away from this planet, then all of our knowledge, our experiences, our skills, everything that we are is kind of lost, unless you believe in a higher religion, an afterlife, or for a lot of people, they find meaning in their kids, their relationships, their family. But if you take all that away and you find, and you really start to contemplate our place in the universe, we unfortunately are forgotten after 2 or 3 generations, maybe 4 generations if we're lucky, maybe 5 or 6 if we're particularly famous. But the reality is, for most people, we will be forgotten after 2 generations. And that's quite sad. So even when that led me to actually write 2 books around that topic, around exploration into finding meaning in a digital age, and in a continually expanding universe where our lives seem to feel smaller and smaller. So I wrote 2 books and around that kind of search for meaning, and what they ended up becoming was this idea around exploring mind uploading, creating digital clones, creating a form of digital immortality where a sufficiently good enough AI would be able to exist after our real selves have left this planet. And with that, the first one was a bit more about the philosophical exploration. The second one was definitely more about okay, if this were possible, how would we do it? So much more of an actual exploration into the process and the parts of us that make us human, and what bits we would need to capture to recreate that in an AI. That then led on to, obviously, that was a few years ago. And then with the explosion in AI over the last couple of years, myself and some friends and now team members realized that we actually have the opportunity to build out the technology that I'd written about. And we're very, very lucky to be in a position where we could start working towards turning that into a reality. So actually start building out the science fiction that I wrote about years ago. Yeah, so Sensei is an incredible product that we're working on. It's, as a company, as a project, as a business, it has so many different opportunities and verticals that we can address. We've looked at everything from healthcare to education to gaming to business life. And we realize that the biggest commercial opportunity facing us right now, and the biggest opportunity in general, and the biggest need for digital replicas of people, is as a type of AI assistant, something that takes everything that you are in terms of either personal life or professional life, creates a replica based on pattern recognition and obviously some inputs from yourself, as well as connecting any other accounts that have relevant data. So for a work life, that might be your email, it might be your Slack, and maybe your Google Docs or your OneDrive or whatever system you use. By connecting that, you would actually enable it to have access to the data and start to create a kind of auto-suggesting system that would enable it to reply, or at least draft your replies, with you able to say yes, no, or edit them, or down the line be able to edit, send them for you, especially. So this would enable teams who are working remotely in different time zones to get quicker responses, or just for anyone who's working a normal 8 hour day to be able to have something that can reply for them during their time where they're typically off the clock. So usually when they're sleeping or when they're on a holiday or weekends, if there was a quick message from your boss, your replica would be able to give you a quick answer, which essentially means that you would be able to enjoy your time off more and get your quality time back because your replica would be able to answer almost like a very good personal assistant, being able to answer the questions for you when you're not around. Yeah, so I think it's less of it's memory loss is definitely one component of it, but we really identified it as knowledge as a whole.
I see.
So we one of the verticals we already built out was for dementia patients and their families,
Okay.
and enabling Sensei to capture that person's knowledge, their understanding, while they're after they've been diagnosed with dementia, for example. But in general, like interest in life, being able to create a replica of someone who we're all going to die, right? So capturing
Yeah,
that knowledge, that wisdom, that understanding that historically would have been lost,
I
and
see.
even in a corporate situation as well, like understanding that the loss of knowledge when someone leaves a company or when someone transitions into a new team or a new country or new department, there's always a loss of knowledge there as well and a loss of wisdom. So being able to treat these kind of cycles, the cycle of life over 80 years or the cycle of an employee at a company over, I don't know, 2 to 10 years, to the cycle within business cycles, just seasonal cycles, any kind of cycle where there is transition and change. Having a replica there just enables that the person who's moved on in whichever way to still be able to communicate with those who are coming in and still around in those previous situations. Yeah, so we're constantly iterating, we're constantly listening to our customers and getting feedback and understanding what people are looking for. Where, it's all such new technology. There's not that much relevant research out there. So we conduct our own as we go. And, the research is mostly based on customer feedback and what the specific features and priorities they're looking for so that we can iterate it into our own development. Yeah, so Sensei, I can't take we can't take credit for it necessarily. Our branding agency that we work with is fantastic.
Yeah,
I've worked with them for years, and they're one of the best. So,
right.
we went through this entire naming process and to try and finding the right fit. And the word sensei came out, obviously the more traditional spelling, Sensei came out as the obvious, early choice. And we realized that, with the word sensei, it was nice. It's all about mastery and this kind of like aspect of, teacher and student. And it fitted really well for an educational use case for the platform. But since as the platforms evolved, we realized that actually, and also because the original translation of the word sensei, actually, it doesn't mean master. It doesn't mean kind of like teacher. What it means, and the direct translation is one who came before. And it's really nice and a really nice kind of touch on, and then obviously the play on words with SAY for say, as a kind of a communicative chatbot has really connected it to what we're trying to build. So creating something of that captures that knowledge and enables it to be shared and experienced by the next cycles, the next generations. Really, it's nice to be able to get a brand that really captures that. Yeah, there's a few out there approaching different ways. I think Replica and uh, Replica. I can't remember whether it's Replica and Luca. I think one of them is focusing on sort of companion bots
Okay.
and creating sort of like digital worlds to interact with. Forever Voices, I think, is going down the AI girlfriend route,
Okay.
which is good for them. Hereafter is nice, a nice like sort of legacy technology. Sensay, we're building it out as a kind of platform and also this B2B tool as well. So even though we have these different use cases, Sensay is
Mm-hmm.
primarily focused at like sort of organizational knowledge. So we want
Great.
to be able to capture that organizational knowledge by replicating key people or
Mm-hmm.
by creating these basic replicas of each individual employee so that
Great.
we can help automate what they do. Fundamentally, though, the differences are that we've built our own model, which I've tested out all the different platforms by dropping the same prompt in for the same type of person to create, and I mean I'm obviously biased, but I think ours is definitely the at the top there.
All right.
Um, and but at the end of the day, competition's not it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's something that we would want. It validates the idea. It shows there's demand out there, and it shows that there is a need for something like this. We're small, we're innovative, we're adventurous. We push we push the boundaries. I think that again, I wrote the book on like what we need to capture. I think our approach to capturing the information is pretty innovative and strong compared to the others.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so there's a few that we really, and also just like I said, our own model.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I think that there's quite a few different advantages we have. Yeah. So key features Sensei are that it is a very simple platform for replicating yourself. I think we've got innovative process for capturing a person's personality.
All right.
Obviously, the key features of having a replica include the automation. So my replica is now interacting with our community on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis. It
All right.
answers questions for me on my behalf. And I've even got it running on autopilot sometimes. So for instance, on weekends, I will let it reply to my sort of Telegram messages for me, which is great. It books in calls with me and summarizes meetings, and can also generate weekly reports based on the amount of messages that I've sent throughout the week. So basically, it's a productivity tool for now, but it also enables friends, family, work colleagues to and even community to use it as a sort of information and sales tool for our company. Everyone has the same problem right now. Obviously there's still some hallucination
Yeah.
in the way that AI generates messages. So see, we are working on that the same as everyone. We
All
have
right.
a way, and this is kind of why we start with auto suggest function. So essentially, instead of having the replica reply for you right straight away, it has an additional human element where it would suggest the answer to you. You can say yes, no, or edit, and you can choose what it says. In the day-to-day sort of chat messages, we highlight that it is a chatbot and known to make errors, and it obviously depends on the quality of the training. We're also working on a hallucination score. So this would enable anyone to, after receiving any message, be able to check, almost like validate how much of the message sent was factual based on the data and how much was kind of like hallucinated and guessed. Yep. So we have, top of the basically our CTO and some of our lead developers have a really strong background in security. So we've got some of the best security out there in terms of how we keep user data secure. That data, when accessed for the user's interactions, the replica's interactions, obviously the data call comes and it pulls out the sort of relevant answer from the data set it has. So there is, that element of if you make your replica public, then it is going to have that data available for people to request, because it will be part of the answers. However, we do have different levels of what the replica can do. So you can have public messages. You can make your replica private and only available to whitelisted email addresses. And then beyond that, we have a feature called secrets,
Okay.
which means that, say for me, for example, I have my replica technically has my banking information. It has my medical records all plugged into it,
Okay.
but only a few people are able to actually access that if they need to. So
Okay.
that would be like my family would be able to reach in and actually extract that information from the replica because they would need it in a medical situation or an emergency, right? And by having these secrets that are only available to certain people, it enables that sort of extra layer of privacy while also having all of the sort of all of that data about the individual, and that's what makes it really special. So we, at the moment, the platform is available at Sensay.io. It currently is, anyone can go and create a replica for themselves. They can sign up to one of the plans, and then they can start using it for whatever use case they might want their replica for as an individual.
Yeah.
Our main focus, though, is obviously for companies that would want to create multiple replicas and replicas on bulk. So that could be replicating their entire team or just the experts within their team. So we're looking at management consultants, we're looking at lawyers, educational institutions, government departments, any sort of large organizations that would have key persons, key knowledge, and experts that would need to train other people within the company for onboarding purposes or just knowledge sharing in general. Yes, absolutely. When I say that anyone can go and do that, that is one of the use cases for the individual platform. So
Okay.
the dementia use case is a really nice one for us because it does a lot of good and it helps a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
of
by
course.
enabling them to have that option to capture their memories, their stories, their knowledge, their experience to be shared after the past. So that is one of the sort of individual use cases that we've identified and have on the site ready. Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we try and stay in touch with as many users. We've got our community through Telegram, Discord, our social media.
Okay.
So we're in constant contact with potential customers and community members and people who are just interested in the technology in general. We've been very lucky to accumulate a quite a large community that way. So we've got 100,000 plus community members. When it comes to the improvements that have come from customer feedback. We have requests for different inputs, like different data files that they would want in, custom APIs that they would want included,
Okay.
what use cases they would want for their replicas as well. So I mean, most of our inputs and external channels that we can then host the replicas on have usually come and even features. It's very hard to differentiate what's come from users now because there are so many compared to the amount that have actually come from our internal team. So there's lots of constant communication with the customers all the time to understand what they're looking for and how we can best improve what we're doing. Yeah, so we've got all social media, so you can connect to all different social media. You can search through YouTube videos. You can have it connect to your Google Drive, your email, your different messages. You can upload files, and it will separate out the memories from the facts in the different document uploads. You can enable it to scan your Telegram and blogs.
Okay.
Pretty, yeah, and then a lot of other ones that we've got coming up. Everything from being able to track from uh, like meeting recorders, like the one I have here, or you could have it from pretty much any kind of data input that you might have. We're working on as many as we can. There are hundreds, if not thousands, out there, so we've got quite a lot of work to do. But
Okay.
we're working on it. There will be the community is the best way. Getting
All
in
right.
touch through Telegram or through any of our social channels is
Okay.
probably the best way to get a very personalized support.
Right.
When it comes to resources, we have a big update coming out next week. So we
Okay.
shall be doing updated resources, webinars, and even training programs
Okay.
available in the next few weeks following that. AI is going to take over really. AI, the biggest aspect of AI that can really change education specifically is around personalization, understanding what understanding how each person learns and adapting to them. So, typically like for example, school and academia is very a way that it always a very set structure, and it doesn't cater for everyone. Some people are visual, some people are audio learners, some people are very much like physical and doing learn by doing, right? So by having a an adaptive AI to actually teach each person concept in a way that each person understands and actually it grows with them and understands them so they can get the grasp of different ideas faster.
Okay.
That's how AI is really going to evolve around education. In terms around developing out some kind of digital immortality, I mean, having our data footprint already out there
Mm,
means that, our data about us is going to last a lot longer than we will, right? Having,
of course.
even just something like a USB with a few photos and videos of us that just gets resurfaced after 1,000 years is going to technically create some kind of digital immortality for us. But in terms of having something that people can interact with and get to know, that's where it becomes really incredible. And I think we're going to see a lot more, obviously, replicas, a lot more AI agents, and a lot of really useful tools coming through very fast for
Yeah.
people and businesses. Waking up every day and
Okay.
keep going.
All right.
No, a key factor for success. Success is a very strange concept for someone who writes about the meaninglessness of the universe, right?
All right.
So success for me, I guess, is obviously enjoying what we're doing and building something, that I feel like there's a, a real impact to humanity with. Success is just keep going, just keep building, keep pushing, keep growing, keep learning. And as I said at the very start, one of my earliest philosophies and one of my earliest sort of realizations is that all we are is a collection of stories. At the end of the day, if you lose your memory, you know, if something happens to you where I know you get concussed and you can't remember anything about yourself, you realize that you lose yourself when you lose your memories.
All
So by creating as many memories as possible, by building that and preserving that and making better memories as well, that's success for me. Just start, use AI, leverage it. I think we'll see the first one-person billion-dollar company very soon. That could be anyone. So learn how to leverage the AI technology around you. Learn how to use AI workers so that you don't have to, worry about staffing in the same way that historically people have had to. But
right.
the realistic aspect is find a problem that's actually solvable. Start small, start in a small niche, focus small, and focus on the customer. Listen to the customer and grow from there. If you try and start too big, like digital immortality,
Yeah.
then that you run into all sorts of kind of obstacles. But if you start small and you focus on a need that people around you and that you understand, you can solve, then just start there and you will be amazed at how fast things grow. Oh, there is a good question. Um, yes, I think that there's very there's a very high likelihood that first of all we are possibly in some kind of simulation. I think that we are limited and could be augmented by AI and possible brain and computer interfaces, whether they're implanted like Neuralink or external, that just kind of read your brain waves through a hat or wearable in an earpiece. Does the AI, it depends, again, achieving AGI really depends on where you kind of have the idea of human intelligence. I think that the human intelligence ranges quite a lot.
Mhm.
So I think that it will overtake human intelligence in general. I think that AI has the capable to evolve and possibly even transcend to a different understanding in the same way as a baby growing up and suddenly, after a certain amount of brain compute can suddenly realize that it's looking at itself in the mirror, right? It becomes conscious of itself, whereas before maybe it wasn't conscious of anything. And I think that with increased intelligence, maybe AI can achieve something similar. Whether it will become sentient itself and become self-aware and conscious, that's a whole other question. But do I think that the capabilities of its intelligence will surpass human intelligence? Yes. I think that even now we see how fast it's growing and adapting, and unless there is some kind of like unwritten limitation on how much a computer can process, I think we will shoot past that very soon and enter this entire new age of innovation, of fixing problems. As long as we don't destroy ourselves first, that would be a shame. Yeah, to any users who are interested in preserving themselves, interested in getting ahead of upcoming innovation and looking forward in a way that they want to future-proof themselves against death, against against the loss of their memories, because anything could happen.
Yeah.
Things like Sensei and things like capturing your data, capturing your essence is going to become so important going forward, because all these personalized AIs, all these tools that come out will require that data input, will require the access to that. So by having it ready, by leveraging tools like Sensei, you're gonna benefit so much more from having it than not. So for any users that are coming, obviously, please share any feedback.
All
Enjoy
right,
the platform.
sure.
Let us know. But we are building this for the long term. I can't see myself working on anything else. It's not some kind of like oh, we want to sell the company quick. It's this is going to be something that we really put the rest of our lives into building and building right.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Dan. It's been a pleasure discussing your work with Sensei. We look forward to seeing how your platform evolves and continues to impact the AI industry. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.